Well, yeah, the extension cord technology has really come a long way. When I was a kid, we used to have a long one. It was red. Now we got orange ones, we got blue ones. And then if you want to make it all illegal, you can like chop off the little bits so this ground portion goes over the top. You still got to do that. It's maybe not as safe, but the technology is really out there for all kinds of things that we can't even imagine. So, welcome to the superpilotish channel. My name is Graham Wilson, and today I'm going to be talking about electric airplanes in my basement. So that was just a little joke, of course. Although you never know, like with extension cord technology, you could have like some kind of nano extension cord, and then you get to the destination and you reel it back. I don't know. Who knows what kind of crazy stuff comes up in the future? But I was watching an interview the other day with somebody, and they were talking about electric airplanes. And there's a few that have just taken within the last year or so. There's been quite a few electric airplanes that people are working on. They're experimental. The guys are building them on their own in the garages. Some are attempting to get certified. They're getting prototypes built. And so I was thinking that there it seems to me like there's a bit of an electric airplane race right now. Like back when the Wright brothers were first starting to do their first airplane, there was other people in France working on it. There was people in England working on it, and so I think we kind of have that little bit of a electric airplane race going on right now. Maybe it's not super groundbreaking, but it could be. So yeah, I was just thinking now as a pilot. Okay, I've flown mostly just like little airplanes and stuff, and I've been a passenger on the big jets, just like a lot of people have. But I've studied a little bit of aerodynamics, a little bit about jet engines, a little bit of this, a little bit of that to get to be a flight instructor and to be able to teach that. Because if you're a pilot, you do have to know a little bit about how your engine works. So I'm thinking, electric airplanes, could it work? Right now, I see that the big hurdle right there is the battery technology. So batteries are pretty heavy right now. Now the electric motor itself is quite a bit lighter than whether it's a piston engine or even like a turbine engine. It's the electric motors are like they're very strong, they're very light, not too many moving parts to mess up, and you just stick on a regular propeller. The propeller technology has been really, really fine tuned over the years. So that would be, you can stick an existing propeller onto a newer electric engine. Okay, that would work. But the big thing is the battery and the weight. So I was also thinking that is it feasible right now for an electric airplane? Maybe for some little ones, if you just want to go booting around your local airport and you build it yourself, something like that, maybe. As far as is it ready for prime time for commuter airlines or something like that? Not exactly yet, though. And so this is oh, hey Bolo, that you got to what I was going to be talking about here too. One of the things that you could do is to extend your range is if you had solar panels on top of your wings, maybe on top of the fuselage too. And there you go. That could extend you, but you'd have to be in the sun. And then I was thinking there too, how could you be in the sun? But if it's a cloudy day, well, then you would have to have a special classification for IFR day only or something like that, above cloud, and then or something like that. But then like once you get above the clouds, it's a beautiful sunny day no matter what. So that would really help. And but you'd have to really watch the weather for that. And so that's something that could happen. But the main thing that I was thinking that I think we'll see electric airplanes before we know it, because from everything that I've seen, the battery technology and solar panel technology, it's not increasing in a straight line. And I'm sure everybody watching here knows the difference between a straight line and a geometric curve. But let's just say this is, we'll say whatever technology we got. And okay, here we go. Don't have the whiteboard. Got the cardboard though. Here we go. So just basically what I'm kind of talking about. Maybe we'll say, well, whatever the technology is. Maybe it's solar panels or batteries, and it's been coming. Like if it was just a straight line, okay, every year the battery gets 1 kilowatt better or something, or 1 volt better, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So what would it be stored in? Watts, something like that. So it gets 1 a year better, okay, rather than 10% better or 20% better. So it could, maybe it doubles. The technology is doubling every 4 years or 8 years or something. So the way that works, whatever your tech is, whatever your technology is, how good it is. And then this would be, this is your one axis over here is your technology, how much it can store, how good it is, compared to in whatever unit you want, compared to time. And of course, this isn't, everyone kind of knows this from school probably, but I'll just jog some people's memories, or I don't know, maybe people forgot, or okay, so if it's a geometric curve, it kind of goes like, it doesn't really do too much. 10% of this, 10% of that, 10% of that, 10% of that, 10% of that, and 10% of that. And it goes like, it looks like nothing's happening year over year or month over month. And all of a sudden it just kind of takes off and becomes way better. So there we go. That's what I think. That's what's going to happen with our airplanes and battery technology, solar panels on the wings. There could be some new, I don't know, some kind of new technology that pops up where, like when carbon fiber was invented, that became something very light. It was very strong. And so that changed how airplanes are built and changed a lot of things. Carbon fiber, like all the race cars you see out there. If you ever see those Formula One race cars or Indy cars, if you look at them up close, they're all carbon fiber and they're all just made. It's really cool. I went to the Detroit Auto Show. It was just last week, but I didn't go this year. So it was a few years ago, about 4 years ago. I went to the Detroit Auto Show and they had one of the F1 cars there, and you could see the carbon fiber and it had. You could tell that they were just tweaking it aerodynamically, every little air inlet for the engine, or they must have spent hours and hours and hours in a wind tunnel with one of those little smoke things and figuring out exactly how to make it, because it was, and then they maybe did that with computer aided design. So CAD is, as it's called, that was something that was invented. I think, if I remember correctly, CAD was invented by Boeing to design the wing for the 747, because they just, before that they'd use all their I don't know, what would they use, like slide rules, and they had big drafting boards and things like that. So the engineers had to develop a technology that could develop the technology. And that could happen with something like this, with your electric, with your anything electric. So I would say, and that kind of goes to, so if anyone were to ask me, do you think there's going to be electric airplanes? Yeah, definitely one day, but not anytime too soon. But I think it's going to be one of those things where all of a sudden the technology is around and away we go. We're off to the races. But we won't be able to predict that. But I will make a prediction here today, because I do have this theory now that I'm getting a little older. So it's like I've found, I don't know, I just invented this. It's not that groundbreaking, I guess, but it's my own personal theory that I call it the 20-year theory. So that if you think about like 20 years ago, maybe if you're younger, you can't, but anybody, I tested this on just about anybody that's like over 40, and say, okay, 20 years ago, could you ever imagine that the world would be like this right now? And everyone says, oh, no way. Oh, no way. And so you think about that 20 years ago, it's 2022 right now. Okay, so that'd be 2002. Now what's the difference between now and then? I think I bought my very first USB stick for school back then. And it was, I don't know, I think it was like 4 megabytes or 8 megabytes or something like that. But now you can get like 4 terabytes, or I don't know, on some, yeah, probably some little USB drive, a little thingamajig. But I'm not really a supercomputer guy, but I know a little bit here and there. And so, yeah, that technology. Or 20 years ago, did you expect everyone to be walking down the street like this, staring at something? Like everybody? No. Did you expect to see people driving around in their cars with masks on 20 years ago? Now you see it. So it's like, yeah. So, yeah. Oh, hey, Jordan. Thanks for popping in. And yeah, so that's my 20-year theory. There's like, and you never would have imagined that in a million years that, or in 20 years, that this could happen. So that's what I think it's going to be with the airplanes. There's going to be some kind of breakthrough that we can't even imagine right now, and yeah, and we'll be flying around. Maybe not super long haul, going across the ocean or across the Pacific, but you never know. You might be hopping, like say, you'd have your little electric propeller commuter planes for around here, and if you want to go off to Beijing or something like that, or you want to go over to I don't know, you want to go over to our buddies over in Moscow because we'll be all nice and peaceful by then. Yeah, you just hop on one of Elon's rockets and away you go, piece of cake. And then then you hop on an electric airplane there and go off. I don't know, skiing in the Ural Mountains or something. So, okay. Oh, and Wrench is here too. So, what's Wrench saying here? The main thing that's clear is we always guess wrong. Well, I mean, that's why I'm not making any like super exact predictions about it, but I would say that we can't imagine it. But so I think the airplanes, the electric airplanes that we see, it's something that we can't imagine, but it'll still be kind of electric or so efficient that we can't imagine it. So, but I think it's just the way that technology is developing. It's inevitable that would happen. And there are some, there's hurdles to hop over there too, with any airplane that's flying around, especially with passengers, has to be really, really scrutinized. And the engineering really has to be proven to the regulating authorities, whether it's the FAA in the States or Transport Canada here in Canada. And that's a matter of paperwork and experiment and proving and testing and stuff like that. So anyways, that's my take on it. My prediction is there'll be some kind of electric something flying around. And then as far as the flying cars that kind of look like drones right now, I bet you that there's going to be, right now the flying cars, I call them helicopters, and they're very noisy and they're very inefficient. They use a lot of energy. But like I said before, with your battery technology and stuff like that, your electric helicopter driving car, basically like a gigantic drone, that could work, I think. And what do we got here? Oh, a bunch of people popping in. Okay. Well, what the heck? I'm just gonna go through some comments here. I kind of said my piece there. 20 years, you can't predict what's gonna happen, and we'll have some sort of electric something or other flying around. All right, what else we got here? And Jordan just took off his tinfoil hat. Oh, very good. Yeah, it gets a little sweaty under there if you wear your tinfoil hat all day. Hey, I like to put on a cap every once in a while just to kind of change it up. Okay, what about an anti-gravity machine? And Bob Lazar. I've heard that name because I like a good conspiracy like anyone else. But flat Earth is the best, man. But, yeah, I actually met a guy that was like right into the flat Earth stuff, and I was like, let me see. And just if you ever do, one of the arguments that they have for the flat Earth people is that what was it? Oh, they never fly over the Antarctic because it's like because that's the actual end of the world is the Antarctic. Well, actually, the reason nobody flies over the Antarctic in their jets or anything is because it's a very long distance to go from anywhere to anywhere, whether you're going from, I don't know, Johannesburg to Buenos Aires or something like, and there's just not that much traffic to warrant it. Plus, it's also a matter of search and rescue and operations. So if you're flying directly over to get to, they always have polar routes that are routes they'll go up over the poles. And you always see like if they go into Europe, they'll go up by kind of like Greenland and over Iceland and stuff like that. And that's the most direct route to get over that sphere on the bottom. It's the same thing. You could go underneath, but if you have a problem, there's nowhere to land in Antarctica in your 777. Another thing there is that the jet fuel can only go down to a certain temperature, and so you get. So someone was telling me that when they were flying over the top of, what was he saying? He would get up they would go over a polar route to kind of go up by like Alaska and then over down through Russia to get into China. And some of the really cold times that he was there, they were watching the temperature on the fuel in the tanks, and it goes down and down and down. And I think they do heat them with bleed air, but it's still, there's a certain amount of time that it will get down. You can't heat that much of it. And so they're watching it. It gets down to, as soon as it gets down to like a minimum temperature, the viscosity of the fuel and the atomization of it isn't as good. So it won't burn right. So you got to get on the ground or get down into warmer weather. So, and that can happen. So if you're over Antarctica, if you're Mr. Flat Earth guy or whatever, sorry to burst your bubble, but it's just too cold down there. And the route is so long that the fuel temperature will go down, and then the plane's not flyable. And if there is any problems, there's no, you can't just hop into LAX or something like that on the South Pole. So not that unless they got the secret bases. Yeah, who knows? Okay, so that was my little take on that. Okay, what else we got here? Ian Anderson. Oh, I know an Ian Anderson, but I don't think it would be the one I'm thinking of for sure. And those Hope Air ES30s are just the first step. Sustainable aviation fuels can also help run the APUs while getting closer to being carbon neutral. Sounds like someone's been paying attention to all the latest tech that's coming out here. And this is the first time I've seen you too, Ian. So welcome to the channel. And what is this? Did I talk about Alice? New electric plane flew yesterday. Actually, yeah, I think I was looking around. That's the one that's got a couple engines in the back, I think, right? I didn't actually look into it that much, but it looked like a cool airplane to fly. And hey, Harold, welcome to the channel again. And okay, what else we got here? I thought I read Air Canada bought 30 electric airplanes. Could be wrong. Yeah. What was it? Air Canada put in orders for some commuter planes to be built. What was it called? Ram Air? I forget what it was. But yeah, they're developing them, and I think it's kind of, those planes will probably kind of under deliver for now. Because what happens all the time with all these new aircraft companies, they kind of start off and they got maybe a prototype and they promise the world, and like it almost never works. So I don't know. I'll kind of believe it when I see it, or it could be, I don't know, in business sometimes, oh yeah, well, I guess we went out of business because I paid myself $1 million a year. Too bad. It could be something like that. You never know. But and hi, Shecky, better late than never. And okay. What do we got here? Okay, we got Jethro Tull Aqualung. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Other than Jethro Tull is pretty cool. All right. Yeah, so that was about it for today. I just wanted to say, yeah, I think it could happen. And in 20 years, who knows? Maybe I'll, or 20 years ago, could you imagine like some guy talking in his basement to you with like, and who would have thought that the KD-12X would have been such a smash hit too, right? So, oh well, that's about it for today. And yeah, so today is Wednesday. Okay, so now coming up, because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. And yeah, there was so on Friday. Now usually I don't have any topic to talk about it, and until like right before Jordan knows about that. I was talking to him about that earlier. So yeah, so Friday, that's where I'm going to be doing my my memory experiment with my ropes here. And trust me, I haven't been practicing or anything like that. So we'll it'll be because I want to know, like, will I remember this stuff? I think I will after, what was it? They got to repeat it after 7 days. So last Friday I did that, and yeah, I didn't quite get it, and then I reviewed it the proper amount of time that you're supposed to. I still got my little cardboard over here. That's my little reminder cardboard. So I'm gonna do my 7-day review for 10 minutes on Friday. So there we go. Topics already picked up. Rope's still good. And that's about it. So you guys, I'm gonna shut her down. Thanks for showing up, everyone. And thanks also for watching. Bye.